Yo, what's going on guys? Welcome back to a brand new video. What up guys, today is something a bit different today. So if you guys didn't know, on my channel I'm doing a mini series, I guess you could say, of the best builds for each category of weapons. So I already did some machine guns and assault rifles. If you guys haven't seen those, I will leave a link in the description below so you can check those out. But today we'll be doing LMGs. Now LMGs are very weird in this game, at least in patch 1.5. In my opinion, they're very good. And I know some people are going to say assault rifles dominate the scene in PvP and PvE, and I honestly agree with you. The assault rifles are the best thing in the game right now, but to be honest, I'm getting a little bit bored of just using assault rifles, and I know most of you guys are probably feeling the same way. If you're not, well then, honestly, massive props to you. But if you are getting bored of just using, assault rifles and just pretty much, just using the same build and stuff, this is a LMG build I put together that's really fun to use and really good damage-wise. Now, the few clips you guys are seeing in the background right now are of me farming Lexington Center. Now, to be honest, this is a LMG build. I really never thought it was going to be good or I'll be able to, shred enemies really quickly. I know for PvP, this build will probably get destroyed in a matter of, seconds, but for PvE, this is a very fun build I put together. Now, as you guys can see right here, this is the build. So what it consists of is 4 Alpha Bridge, a specialized backpack, and savage gloves. Now, I know you guys are saying, holy shit, the DPS is so low, it's only 287. And the main reason the DPS is pretty low is because if you look at the first gun I'm using, on this gun you can only put 3 mods on instead of 4, so I'm still missing the foregrip, which would add another 15, maybe 20,000 DPS. So this build will be way above, 310,000 DPS if I was able to put that. But unfortunately, I cannot because of the gun I'm actually using, so I'm only rocking with 3 mods on this weapon. Now, as you guys can see, the 2 main weapons I'm using for this build is the custom L86A2 and the Pakam. Now, the Pakam is my main weapon I'll be using. As you guys can see the stats right here, as 14% damage to targets out of cover, 19.6k base damage, which is pretty high, and it also includes 94 bullets in its magazine with my extended mag. Now, I understand that LMGs are supposed to have like 200, 250, maybe 300, bullets in each mag or each belt, but the Pakam is a really good LMG that reloads really quickly. Honestly, that's one of my main issues while using a LMG in this game, is it reloads very slowly. So for me to have a LMG with around 100 bullets and a lot of damage, this weapon honestly fits me perfectly. Now, for the talents I do have on this weapon are pretty stacked. Now, you have to keep in mind I spend hundreds and hundreds of Phoenix credits on rerolling my talents and stuff like that, but these are the talents that I have. First up, we have Unforgiving. Missing health segments increase your damage. Pretty much 1 missing segment is 10%, 2 missing segments 25%, so this is actually really good. It helps you out in those critical scenarios whenever you are really low on health. Next up, we have Destructive. Destructive, in my opinion, the best weapon talent in the game in patch 1.5. For PvP, for PvE, this is a very useful talent you want to have on pretty much anything you use. Next up, we have one of my favorite talents, and that is Ferocious. Ferocious is mainly a PvE weapon talent. To be honest, for PvP, you kind of can get away with it if you're farming for bosses and stuff like that, but it's not going to help you out during gunfights against other agents. So Ferocious is one of my favorite talents because you guys know I mainly play PvE, so I love Ferocious, and especially when I'm farming like the Lexington Center, Ferocious comes in handy so much. The other 3 weapon talents we have on this build is Vicious, Deadly, and Brutal. So as you guys can see, all my talents are pretty much stacked. Like every single talent is really good, and it just helps me out. Brutal, obviously headshot damage, Deadly, critical hit damage, and obviously Vicious, critical hit chance, which everything pretty much goes together. The only thing I wish I had was Responsive, maybe instead of like Unforgiving or Vicious. To have Responsive, it would make this build even better. But it is what it is. Those are pretty much my weapon talents. So like I said, my weapon talents on this build are stacked to the max. The only thing I wish I had was Responsive. Now, moving on to the gear, we're going to start off with a specialized backpack. So right here we have armor on it, nothing special, a Firearms roll as well. Moving down to the Savage gloves. Now these are actually Savage gloves I unboxed in my latest video. If you guys didn't check that out, I will also put in the description below. I crafted around 25 pairs of gloves, and I got a lot of different gloves, but these are probably the best ones I got. So what it comes with is critical hit damage, LMG damage, and damage to elite. So right there, that should help me out with my damage and my DPS in general. The final pieces of gear I have is Alpha Bridge. You know, Alpha Bridge, it is what it is. It's the best gear set in the game, in 1.5 at least in my opinion, and you know, a lot of people will agree with that. Some people say Striker is better, but I honestly love using Alpha Bridge. The only thing I have an issue with is using the same weapons. I wish you could use like, you know, assault rifle, SMG, or like a marksman rifle and an LMG. But besides that, Alpha Bridge really doesn't have any negative sides. Last but not least, moving on to the character attributes. I'm not going to show you guys everything because if I do, the video is going to be like 25 minutes long, so I don't want to do that. I'm going to show you guys the basic stuff. So for my firearms, you guys can see I have 5.4k, stamina 6.6k, almost 6.7k. And for my electronics, I have 2.8k. It's not the highest thing, but I'll take it because I'm not really focused on electronics on this build. For my weapon damage, I have around 20k, critical hit chance 22%, critical hit damage 74%, headshot damage 35%, and so on and so forth. So that's pretty much it for the build. Like I said, this is a fun build you can use for PvE. For PvP, I would not recommend using this unless, you know, you just want to have fun and just fool around, because LMGs are not the greatest thing for PvP. In my opinion, assault rifles dominate that scene. So once again, that's it for the video. Thank you guys so much for watching. If you have any questions, leave them down in the comment section below. I reply to all my comments. But once again, thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you guys in the next one. Peace.